Dear student, welcome to EPG Pathshala. Today I am going to give lecture on the topic soil pollution control. As we all know that there are different sources of soil pollution like industrial soil pollution, agricultural soil pollution and urbanization soil pollution. All these sources are making our soil polluted. With respect to this, our soil is losing or becoming infertile to its productivity. However, soil is considered as fundamental to human being. Nothing can exist without it on this earth. Therefore, there is a great need to adopt preventive measures to preserve this vulnerable resource. Hence, in this lecture, we are going to learn about various soil pollution control processes plus remedial techniques. We will start with soil pollution control measures. Reducing chemical fertilizers and pesticide use can be one of the control measure. Applying biofertilizers and manures can reduce chemical fertilizers and pesticide use and thereby minimize soil pollution. For instance, in gardens, make use of organic fertilizers and pesticides because firstly they are usually made of natural substances, secondly they are biodegradable, and thirdly do little harm to the natural balance in the soil. Aware and insist pupil on buying natural and organic food because chemical pesticides and fertilizers are not being used in their growing processes. Not only are organic food healthier for the environment, they are also healthier for our families. For some of the examples of common organic pesticides which are in use such as tobacco powder, pyrethrin, neem, kenny, pepper spray, etc. Next process, reforestation. Deforestation or the cutting down of trees are the main source of erosion of soil, due to which the loss of fertility of soil occurs, which leads to soil pollution. Reforestation is an effective method of preventing soil pollution. Another can be cut down the usage of papers or use recycled papers. This will lead fewer trees to be cut down and therefore reduced deforestation. Restoring forest and grass covers to check wasteland, soil erosions and floods can be another attempt to control land loss and soil erosion. On the other hand, crop rotation or mixed cropping can also improve the fertility of the land. Waste minimization. The 3 R's principle, reduce, reuse and recycle, help in minimization of waste production. Reduce the quantity and toxicity of refuse and trash that we discard. Reuse containers and try to repair things that are broken. Recycle products wherever possible, which includes buying recycled products such as recycled papers, book, paper bags, etc. Further, soil pollution can be restricted by following these steps. Strong regulatory programs to reduce soil contamination need to be implemented. Reduce consumption and reduce your trash is the best way, as the less rubbish we create, the less chance of the waste that will end up in our soil. Use of plastic bags, which are the major cause of pollution, must be banned. Most appropriate and secure disposal of waste, including nuclear waste. Encouraging social and agroforestry programs. Undertaking pollution awareness programs. There is a need to educate the pupil about the harm done when they litter, are some of the steps which can control our soil pollution. Next, we will take soil pollution control techniques. Removing the contaminated soil and replacing it with clean soil is one of the simplest physical method for remediation. This process, including digging, dumping and replacing, only be possible if extent and depth of the contaminated region is small. The contaminated soil excavated from the site can be either disposed of in an engineered landfill or subjected to simple washing, as it is also been shown in the figure. Next, electroremediation process. Pollutant migration in an electric field is basis of this phenomenon. Migrating particles have a permanent electric charge or they are polarized. The technique is used to remove heavy metals or polar compounds. Under the influence of electromagnetic field, contaminants migrate through the soil within the cathode or anode area, whereby any of the methods contaminants are removed: chemical precipitation, adhesion to the electrode surface, and removing and processing the contamination away from the remediated site. Next process, ex situ soil vapor extraction process. Volatile and some semi-volatile contaminants are removed in this ex situ soil vapor extraction technology. Volatilization of organics is encouraged by placing excavated soil over a network of above ground piping to which a vacuum is applied. Next process, extraction and separation techniques. In solvent extraction, an extracting agent in general along with the contaminated and oil is fixed. Potential application include the removal of metal using a mineral solution, zinc, lead, organometallic compounds, and some cyanide using sodium hydroxide solution. Hydrocarbons and halogenated hydrocarbons can also be removed through this process. Usually contaminants are present in the finer or coarse fraction of the soil or the organic components, which can be removed in some cases using a process which separates the soil into fractions by any of the process like specific gravity or particle size or settling velocity. Next, thermal methods. Destruction of the contaminants directly or indirectly at an appropriate temperature can be done by any of the two ways of heat treatment methods. Removal of contaminants by evaporation, either by direct heat transfer from heated air or an open flame, or by indirect heat transfer. The gas so leaving the heating device must be treated to destroy or remove any contaminants or unwanted products of combustion. Steam stripping is another process in which steam is injected into soil, which leads to evaporation of volatile contaminants which may be water soluble or insoluble. Chemical methods. Chemical methods are developed on the basis of different chemical processes, which include oxidation and reduction, extraction, precipitation of spargingly soluble chemical compounds, pH stabilization. During the process, detoxification is completed only when intimate contact between soil and chemical is there regularly. Soil washing. The method uses a wide spectrum of leaching solution from water to strong inorganic acids. There are two types of washing. Firstly, separation of fine particles with absorbed contaminants in a stream of dissolvents such as water or solution of organic salts like calcium or magnesium. And finally, extraction of contaminants. It is a fast, efficient method for cleaning up of contaminated soil, but its high cost, generation of additional chemical waste and invasive in nature results in low level of community acceptance of this technique. Another method, chemical and photochemical reduction. In this method, the total mineralization of organic contaminants and the effective transformation of organic and inorganic contaminants into non-toxic, less toxic or chemically inert forms takes place. Theoretically, this method could be applied both ex situ and in situ. However, in practices, because of its high invasivity, only ex situ techniques are used. The method is suitable for the removal of organic compounds like oil compounds, organic solvent, pesticides, etc., and inorganic ones like ions or heavy metals or oxyanions. The reagent used in this method are ozone, hydrogen peroxide, chlorates, chlorine monoxides, and other oxidation or reduction reagents. In the case of photochemical processes, an additional factor is ultraviolet radiation. In situ immobilization of the contaminants. This method is used for the immobilization of inorganic contaminants such as heavy metals. The method is based on the introduction into the soil of different substances like cement, polyepoxide, resins, zeolites, which bond strongly with contaminants or create spargingly soluble chemical associations. The effects of remediation techniques are also the modification of the soil chemical properties and hence causing the immobilization of heavy metals or their chemical transformation into less mobile forms by changes in pH. This method is often used in emergency cases to prevent the contaminated area from spreading. Often in connection with fit stabilization as a supporting technique, this method is applied to medium or low contaminated areas. Biological treatment method. In the biological treatment, there is involvement of the use of microorganisms or vegetation or phytoremediation. Microorganisms like bacteria, fungi can mutate harmful chemicals to such substances which are less harmful than original one. Microbial bioremediation occurs under both aerobic and anaerobic conditions and at contaminated sites as either intrinsic or enhanced biodegradation. Bioremediation technologies can be largely classified as ex situ or in situ. Ex situ treatments involve physical removal of contaminated area to another area within the site. Various ex situ treatments like bioreactors, land farming, anaerobic digestion, compositing, bioabsorptions can be used in practices. In contrast to ex situ techniques, in situ technique comprised of treatment of contaminated material in place like bioventing, which involves treatment of the contaminated soil and biostimulation of indigenous aquifer microorganisms. In bioventing, gas is injected into the subsurface to increase the biodegradation process of the contaminant. To expedite degradation of microbes, low amount of oxygen is outfitted to the contaminated unsaturated soils. With the help of oxygen, the microbes gain energy and the carbon for their growth by oxidizing the contaminants, and this oxygen is supplied by air injection wells that pushes air into the subsurface. Hydrocarbons and some chlorinated compounds are depraved by aerobic venting. Whole range of organic contaminants including phenol, polychlorinated hydrocarbons, oil and oil products, dioxins, etc. can be treated by applying microbial treatment methods, which appears to be more promising. And the problem can be solved by any of the two methods. Microbes already presented on the site may be collected and cultured in the laboratory. In the laboratory, strains of microbes can be developed that is capable of metabolizing particular chemicals. For creating optimum condition, excavation of soil prior to the treatment offers the greatest scope. Bioreactors treated the contaminated soil either in solid or slurry phase. Because of more manageable, controllable and predictable conditions in a bioreactor system, the rate and the extent of biodegradation are greater than in situ or in solid phase system. Soil requires pre-treatment before being placed in a bioreactor, or the contaminants can be removed from the soil via soil washing or physical extraction processes. Mixing in a closed container confirms the pollutant, water, air, nutrient and microorganisms in a permanent container. The pH can be maintained by adding acid or alkaline. A slurry bioreactor is a contaminant vessel and apparatus used to devise a three-phase solid, liquid and gas mixing condition. To facilitate the bioremediation rate of soil bound and water soluble pollutants as a water slurry of the contaminated soil and biomass capable of degrading target contaminants. Phytoremediation, this is another process in bioremediation process. In this technique, plants are used to extract, immobilize or degrade the contaminants in soil, groundwater and other contaminated media. Large area of shallow contamination can be best treated by this process. However, phytoremediation has its limitation of possible bioconcentration of contaminants up the food chain. The contaminated vegetation and root zone may impact plant eating animals and soil organisms. The applicability of phytoremediation is limited by several factors. First, it is essential that the contaminated site of interest is able to support plant growth. This requires suitable climate, soil characteristics such as pH and texture, and adequate water and nutrients. Second, because plant roots only go so deep, phytoremediation is practical only in situation where contamination is shallow. Third, since the time requirement for phytoremediation are sometimes long relative to some conventional technologies such as landfilling and incineration, it is not suitable for situation requiring rapid treatment. Plant facilitate remediation via several mechanisms have been shown in the figure. Through this lecture, we understand that resorting organic farming by adopting better agriculture practices, by managing our waste, by applying 3R process like reduce, reuse and recycle, we can retain the fertility of our soil. Also, we have gone through that by applying various physical, chemical and biological remediation techniques, we can restore our natural resource, that is soil. Thank you.